consumers are projecting themselves in their consumption, and they are as demanding as ever and becoming more and more savvy. They have integrated the new good habits in terms of health, local products, sustainability, even if their choices are still motivated by a strong sense of pleasure, a consumption trend that is becoming more established. For the past 3-4 years, there's been a shift in eating behaviors. As in 2020, still 3/4 of consumers consider that they have changed their habits in the last 2 years. A mutation that even tends to accelerate further in Asia and in the Middle East, where we continue to recruit new supporters on healthy, sustainable, or local products. Health, supported by naturalness, is still the #1 expectation without neglecting pleasure. 7 people out of 10 are looking for healthy, authentic, additive-free, or even 100% natural products. And finally, the consumer expects less innovation for innovation's sake, but rather the improvement of the existing offer to make it better and as natural as possible. 63% of consumers consider the food choices they make as civil acts, which condition the world they want to live in. Moreover, they recognize the efforts made by the actors of the food industry to transform themselves, even if they believe that there is still a long way to go. 7 consumers out of 10 admit that they sometimes give in to temptation for products that they consider a little too rich for pure pleasure. But beware, some consumers declare that they are not ready to pay more for a better basic food, for which they consider that the qualitative responsibility lies primarily with companies, a proportion that is likely to grow in the coming months, especially in the countries most affected by inflation.
We are seeing a form of radicalization of promises made on products. So, for example, for pleasure, we have more and more sophisticated products with a wide variety of tastes and stronger sensations. We also see an increase of health promises for safer and more functional products, and even medical. And of course, ethical and environmental promises are very prevalent in the innovative offer. Manufacturers have very clearly understood that these expectations are anchored in consumer demand, not temporarily, but in the long-term perspective. The offer is trying to respond to them more than ever. In the inflationary context that we are experiencing due to the COVID pandemic and recent events in Ukraine, food innovations must justify their price because consumers are more demanding. They no longer simply expect a good quality price ratio, but also a good benefit price ratio with a tangible benefit that justifies the price. A common global goal is to make healthy eating for oneself and for the planet accessible to the largest number of people. So finding the right benefit-price ratio is probably the greatest challenge for the food industry today and tomorrow.
NPD Group studies with its unique consumer panel out-of-home consumption around the world. And what we know today, that the key word about this consumption is out-of-premise consumption. People now take food and beverages out of the places where they were bought, whether it was with click and collect or via delivery or buying things in retail. NPD, covering 13 countries around the world, with about 60% of global spend in food service, found that the actual traffic today is still minus 14% compared to pre-COVID era 2019. Inversely, the average check progressed by 4% due to the inflation, due to the cost of raw materials, and also due to the fact that delivery increased, and delivery usually has higher average check. We need also to mention the factor that changed our life forever. This is remote working and the way people now eat at home instead of going to the offices and going to the food service canteens. Today, food service canteens function at 60–70% of their pre-COVID traffic capacity. And in the end, to go out of the actual crisis, food service should reinvent itself, and mainly this is a new hybrid model for the restaurants that combine the best of two worlds, full service restaurant and quick service restaurants, moving to something hybrid as, for example, fast casual.